Okay, welcome back to Badger's Bikepacking. Right, I haven't done any videos for a while, but what I've really been wanting to do, and I've been trying to do it for a number of weeks, is do a lightweight overnight trip to go and sleep on the coast in a bivvy and come back, but go as lightweight as I possibly can. Now, to go lightweight, I want some lightweight bags. I want to pick a bag set that is going to be mean that I'm keeping the size down as much as possible. And there are lots of bags out there on the market, and you know what, I could go for one of those new tail fins and just stick it all in there and just go for it. And you know what, I couldn't argue with that really, but I'm not going to do that because I'm an Apidura person.
In this whole world, you know, there are millions of boys and girls
I was going to do a bit of this video in the garage, but screw it, let's get out while we can. So finish work at 5, straight on the bike, got my route planned, got my bags packed. What I'm going to do is show you through this set of bags. But before I do that, I'll just talk you through the set. So there's the original backcountry that Apidura did. They're a British company, the bags are made in China, unfortunately. But the material is really good. The backcountry was stitched. Now everything is welded. But the material really tough. You know, the things they're just a solid bit of kit. I would say that Apidura are probably not as innovative as I would like. So things like the feeder bags, they didn't have any little mesh around the outside of a feeder bag, which I never really liked, and commented a couple of times, and I emailed them as well about 2 years ago about it, and just say, look, why can't you fit those? But they do those now, so you can buy feeder bags now with the meshing round, which are, I think, fairly new. They have hit the market really nicely, and they've got 3 different types of bags, and now the backcountry is they've rebranded that as the off-road single track mountain biking. Really tough. It is really tough, therefore it's relatively heavy. You know, it's quite reasonably priced, I think, for what it is. It's weatherproof, not waterproof. Like I say, it has now got the welded seams, so it is weatherproof, and I think you get through a lot of rain without having too much problems, but it's not 100% waterproof like the Expedition. But that's the backcountry, really for mountain bikes. It's for that single off day, rough tough stuff, and maybe stay overnight, something like that. Then there's the Expedition stuff, which is the stuff that I've really got, which is all about long distance, multi-day, through lots of bad weather, road. You know, you could do gravel on it as well. And then there's the race set, and the race set is meant to be ultra light, fast, for Audaxes or all day long distance 400k sort of rides, or if you're racing, ultra distance racing, for that sort of thing. So they call it ultra light. And everything else is, and the Expedition stuff is lightweight, but as we'll come to, it's not actually ultra light. So this is the race kit. I do have a smaller one of these. So this is a 4-litre frame bag. I do have a 2.4 litre, which is the one I bought. I'm not using that today. Then there's a top tube bag. This is really good. What I particularly like about this is that it's a flip top with a magnet on the other side. Really easy to get in and out of. You notice here where it mounts, if I really tucked it in, now because of how I've fitted this strap and the frame bag strap, it's holding the bag this way, which is good because I don't want to get it too close, because you end up getting some rubbing around here. So that's why I've got it at the moment. Bit of a pain, it's knocking my knees when I get up and climb, but at least I've got a gap there to stop any rubbing and wear and tear. So this is a 4-litre bag. There is a 2.4 which I've got, which is really going to be on my winter bag. Big difference between these, other than the size, is that my thunder thighs are knocking on here as I'm riding. Not really bad, just noticeable, really, because the bag is full of kit. What I would say about those frame bags is that it's 4 litres, and that 4-litre bag weighs 200 grams. If I got the 4.5 litre Expedition bag, that weighs 170 grams. Well, I think the material, so this material, I think the material is lightweight. So there are 2 layers in here, whereas it's 3 laminated layers on the Expedition. But I think where the weight is because you'll find that on these bags, unlike the Expedition, the top section here and the underside here are really, this sort of like there's some sort of tough plastic in there. And I don't know the reason for that. I don't know if that is to keep the shape. I don't know why they've got this tough section in there. So I think while the material is really lightweight, there's lots of stiffening in the bag, which I think is adding all the weight. So you'll find that the Expedition kit is the same weight as this race kit, which isn't great when they advertise that the race kit is ultralight and Expedition is lightweight. The decals up here, which apparently are reflective, which I'll maybe try tonight. Then I've got a 5 litre saddlebag, which just about fits okay. So it sits lower down than the Expedition range of bags, which sit a little bit higher up. And then they've got a 7 litre version of this, but I wanted to keep it relatively flat here so my leg could get over relatively easily, because I'm getting on a little bit. Yeah, so that's those 3 bags. If you watch Rise of Japan, he really rates that top tube bag. Again, top tube bag, weight wise, same weight as the Expedition 1 litre bag. Okay, and finally the front bag. Now you can't get this front bag anywhere anymore, I don't think. I think they've stopped making it. And what they did, so this is, there it is, and you'll notice here there are these flaps, and this can actually open up. And so if I didn't have this full, this circle here, this bit here pulls back, and you have a bottle can go in there. Let's put that back, and you can do the same on the other side as well. And what this bag is built for are tri-bars coming across here, and then these straps will hold it up onto the tri-bars. So that was their original sort of tri-bar racing idea, and then you've got a zip on the front, and you've got a choice of covering those over or having them open so you can put your bottles in there with a little bit less space left. But what you'll find now is that they've stopped that idea, and for tri-bars they've now gone for something that is effectively like this. Imagine you've got your tri-bars here, but this bag but spun around, so it's at an angle, and I'll show a picture of that. And again, these are 2.5 litre, and the new version, that goes sort of lengthways, is 2.5 litre as well. But if you don't want that, if you don't have tri-bars, then you can buy a bag that's almost exactly the same as this, 2.5 litres, but instead of this top section here, it's got the same magnet that you've got on the top tube bag, but the magnet comes from this side and lifts up, so you can be riding and just flip it open, get your stuff, close it up again. So yeah, it's quite a nice idea. But they have had a few complaints about that. If you take it off-road, you find that your stuff in the bag bounces around and knocks the metal catch, and stuff can fly out. So they're really not for off-road, but they don't advertise themselves as off-road. You know, they're very much a road system. Okay, well tonight the plan is to finish work 5 o'clock, have the bike all ready, and then just jump on and off we go. And the idea is to get to the coast, sleep on the coast, so hopefully a few stars out tonight, and yeah, just sleep under the stars. Bivvy bag. I'll show you my sleep setup later on, but I'm trying to go as lightweight as I can. There are some exceptions to that, which I'll talk about. I'll maybe put a little clip of video of the gear that I'm going to take in. Maybe I'll add that now. Okay, so the first bit of kit that I'm going to take is a tarp. So I'm going for a bivvy and a tarp setup. This is a super light tarp, small, from DD Hammocks. It is very small. It's just 2.8 by 1.5 meters, so it's good for a single person really. So that will go on the ground, and there may not be any trees, so I'm taking this. So I bought this. In fact, I bought 2 of them. It is a carbon fiber pole, much like a normal tent pole, but it goes up. I've actually had to build my own little adapters for it, but it basically stands up, and it's just a
bit like a walking pole, so you can put a tarp up quite easily. So I'm going to take that, I think, because I'm going to need the tarp, because I think it's going to be rainy, etc. Then I've got two options for a bivvy. And the first option, you can see the sort of size of it, is this Rab Ascent bivvy. It is the Ascent material, or event material, is really breathable, really waterproof, amazing bit of kit. It zips up. It's got a bug meshing, which is really important in the summer, so I'm a big fan of having this. Now if I was going in the winter, I would go for this here, smaller, lighter. It is a snug pack Special Forces bivvy. The Special Forces bit is really not, it just means it's the normal snug pack bivvy, but it's got a zip down the middle, which is gives it a bit more utility. But you can see the size difference there. So I would go for this in the winter because I don't care about bugs or anything like that. Doesn't bother me at all. But in the summer, yeah, I'm just going to take this extra bit of protection. Okay, sleeping ideas now. My first option is a Sea to Summit Spark SP1. This is, it's 8 degrees centigrade. It will go down to, you can see the size of it. It will condense, squash down, compress down to about half that size. So it's a really nice bag. It is down $8.50 plus fill. It is relatively expensive, but I've taken this out into Wales, slept in a bothy. The temperature was down at 4 degrees. And I survived through the night with this, with a load of clothes on. But yeah, so which was a bit silly of me. But anyway, that was that. So that is an option. That's the normal bag I'll take summer bike packing. That's my summer bike packing bag. I've got a more 3-season one which I take, which takes me down to about -3, -4, which is the Spark SP3. But this is the Spark SP1. What I'm going to try though is this here. So this is made from a company called, I think the C has come off here, Cocoon. It's called a mummy liner. It is 100% merino wool. So it's literally just a sleeping bag liner made of merino wool. If you add this to a sleeping bag, you'll get somewhere 3, 4, 5 degrees centigrade improvements. Some people say you get more than that, but yeah, sleeping bag liners, if you use cotton, you get no real improvement. Silk, you maybe get a 1 degree improvement, but these things, and you can get some other thermal sleeping bag liners which give you a good improvement. So I could just sleep in this, and I've done that twice just with this. I've slept in 12 or 13 degrees and it was perfectly comfortable. Of course, you add on the fact that you're sleeping in your bivvy bag, and a bivvy bag will often add 5, some people say 10 degrees, but I think it's maybe depends on the size of the bag and many other things. But you know, you've got a bivvy bag plus this, and I think you're going to be absolutely fine. So I may take this, but if you look at the two together, if I compress this one down, it's going to be half the size. So reality says that this is the right thing to take. However, I'm going to try this. So sleeping bag is going to go. Hopefully the weather will be suitable, and I'm just going to take this mummy liner and see what it's like. And finally, I've got my very trusty Sea to Summit pillow, Eros Pillow Ultralight Regular. Brilliant bit of kit, really small, just ace. Love this thing. Right, well, this bit of kit is nothing to do with ultralight. This is an eye mask, basically one of those masks that you see old people wearing, and a pair of earplugs in there as well. And I only use that because if I go out while camping into the woods, everything is waking you up in the morning, and it gets light at about 4:30. So yeah, so I always take this anyway. So okay, I'm not going ultralight, but I'm going to make myself comfortable and get a good night's sleep. So I may or may not take that, unsure. Another option for you is a sit pad. So if you're going to go somewhere, you take something like this. It is seriously lightweight. It is a little bit bulky, but it keeps a bit of thermal to keep your bum warm, and it keeps it dry. So if you do end up somewhere, you can just put this down and sit down on the wet grass, and it just keeps you that little bit warmer, and it's just a little bit of comfort. Is it worth taking? No, but it is pretty ultralight. I've got no issues with taking this. I'm probably going to take this, I think. Okay, well, you've got to have some comfort, and this is a Thermarest blow-up pad. I can't remember which one. It's the yellow one. Neo Air, something like that. Great bit of kit. I do have another one which is much bigger, bulkier, much more comfortable. This is a 2.75 inch blow up pad, whereas my other one is a 4-inch, but ultralight. I'm going to take that. This is my choice. Okay, next one is my Montbell thermal puffy jacket. Brilliant. Got a hood, keeps them warm in. Anytime I go out somewhere bike packing, this one always comes along because it is an essential bit of kit. Okay, remaining kit. Right, pooper scooper with a bit of toilet paper, and there's a lighter buried in there somewhere as well. Essential piece of kit which I always take. Sometimes I get away with it, with not needing it. Pots. So this is a Snow Peaks. It's I can't remember what size it is. It's probably about a 750 mil one. I'm going to take that with me. I've got one of these little Cedar Summit mugs which flap open. There we go, for my cappuccino, which I will have probably in the morning with my breakfast. A long spoon titanium, which I always use because I have my meals in the bag, so these get all the way down into the bag. Head torch, always got to take. I've got 3 different head torches. This is my lightweight, smaller one, which I use for bike packing. Importantly, it's got a red light on it as well as the white light, so you can keep a little bit discreet. Right then, now what I would take normally is this here. So this is an alcohol burner. Now, alcohol burner, I've got some fuel, far too much fuel. That's probably not ultra lightweight. I do have a bottle that's half the size of that, which I think I will take. So here's a little stand for it. This is the little burner which you put the fuel in, light it, and off we go. And there's a windbreak for it. Windbreak is really important. So, oh, and a couple of lighters. Always take 2 lighters. So this kit is great. This taking alcohol is a great idea if you're going just for a day or 2 days. Any more than that, and the weight of the fuel becomes the big problem. So this fuel here is sort of 4 days worth. So I'll probably take a bottle that's half that size. Probably swap it all out. The great thing about alcohol is that it's quiet. If you're wild camping, you want it to keep discreet. Plus, there's nothing to go wrong. I mean, unless you stand on this thing, there's nothing to break. It's a really simple, reliable system. However, it's not very good in the wind. Even though you've got this windbreak, it's just not particularly good in the wind. So I don't think I'm going to take this. I think what I'm going to end up with is a 100-gram canister, a stand for it to sit on, and then my BSR, I think it's 3000, little gas canister, little gas valve, which will just sit on the top of there. So I think actually that's the kit I'm going to take because of the wind. And it's just about the same sort of weight as the other one, maybe slightly heavier, but nothing big. Okay, the rest of the stuff I'm going to take, a little knife just to cut my food. The food is going to be, there's my breakfast and pasta bolognese, a little hand thing there to take the water off the boil, a little scrubber. You can buy those anywhere. I just chop it in half and that just cleans up a little bit. And then I have one bag with some toothpaste, half a toothbrush, and a little bit of cleaning stuff if I really need to wash my face, which I probably won't. I'll probably just get on the bike and get going home. And the final bits of kit are going to be this bag. So I'm going to put everything into my Apidura bags. Now the 4 bags that you saw before will total 12.5 litres, but I'm going to take a couple of beers, which I'm going to pick up halfway along, and they're going to go in this my little Apidura rucksack. So most of the stuff's going in there. It's just beers which will go in this rucksack. I'm going to take some bottoms to wear because I'm just going to wear shorts out there, cycling shorts. So some bottoms to put on just to keep my legs warm. And then what I always do is take a woolly hat if I'm staying outside, because just in case it does get cold, even though I'm in the bivvy, I'm going to take this just to keep my head warm. Okay, so there are some bits of kit that I can't take. So I couldn't get the seat pad on there. I couldn't take the tarp. I'll maybe talk about that later. I could have taken the tarp if I went for the smaller bivvy bag, but yeah, so I chose the bigger bivvy bag because it's summer. You've got a few more bugs. I'd just rather have that little bit more protection. So bigger bivvy bag. No tarp, but I don't need it. If it did rain, it's no big deal.
life is just a little bit trickier if you're in a bivvy bag and it rains. Water gets in there every time you open the thing up. So if I was going multi-day when I didn't know what the weather was going to be like, I would always take a tarp with me. Anyway, no sleeping bags. I'm just taking a merino wool inner. Well, it's a bit of a race against the sun today. Unfortunately, I got a headwind. So I've got sunsets at 8:45. I'll set off at 5, so 3 3/4 hours, 40 miles. Should be no problem, but of course I have to stop and gas to you lot. Had I got a bit of a headwind, so, and then when I get to the other end, there's quite a bit of climbing, and I'm not a bit unsure about how to get up onto the headland. Don't know how easy that's going to go, but yeah, it should be alright. Gotta learn to keep my mouth shut through the farmyards. That was a monster fly. Yeah, the top tube bag. So these are race set. You can buy the top tube bags that have the bolts, so they can fix onto your bike. Some bikes have the bolts on the top, don't they? Unfortunately, I don't at the moment. There we go. The other little snag is that the front bag is designed obviously for tri-bars. So if you don't have tri-bars on there, it sags down a little bit and starts getting close to the head tube. And if there's one thing that I hate, it's rubbing my head tube. But the wind today is quite a strong wind. It's about 25 knots, so about 29-30 miles an hour, I don't know, something like that. But it's a headwind, so it's a bit of a pain, but I think that's going to drop down as it starts cooling down. At the moment it's about 18 degrees, it's going to go down to about 12 degrees tonight. So I've just got that merino wool bag to sleep in, which is actually heavier than the sleeping bag, but I just want to try it to see what it's like down at temperature in a bivvy bag. So yeah, 12 degrees. I think I'll be okay. I think a bivvy bag offers a good at least 5 degrees extra temperature that you get from the bag. At least, sometimes you get more depending on what the material is, etc. But and how much space is in there. So weather-wise, should be good. Not expecting any rain, hence not even worried about the tarp. But like I say, if I was going for multi-days and I didn't know what the weather was going to be like, I'd always take that tarp with me. Food-wise, right. So all the kit that you said that I showed you is all in the bags. So that all fits, with the exception of the sit mat, the tarp, its pole, and there's something else as well. Oh yeah, my long trousers that I wear in the evening. So I'm just gonna have to not worry about those, but I think it'll be nice and warm. I'll be warm enough, I think, tonight. So all my kit fits in there, and then food is on my back. So that's just a dry meal, that pasta meal. I've got my breakfast. And I've also got my cameras in the rucksack on my back, which is the Apidura bag. Yeah, and I think what I'm going to do, I want to stop and get a couple of beers at the shop up here, get a couple of beers, and I might get a steak if they've got a steak. Winning, but when I was at the shop they don't sell cans of 2, so I had to buy 4. Oh dear. Right, put my bream down now, so I can't be bothered to cycle up, I'll be honest. So it's just a track goes up to the back of Bream Down. And this track just follows all the way along the top. Thankfully I think it's down the far side, so it's a bit protected. Brilliant. And what's the time? Great, 9:49. Sunsets I think in about an hour's time, so we've got plenty of time to get there. Just find a nice sheltered spot, gets a bit warmer, and I'm really hungry. Crack a beer straight away, 'cause I've got no real shelter to sort out, and then we're off. Well, hey, there we go. That wasn't too bad. It's about a 100-metre climb up. Another 100 metres if you want to go to the top, but I think this path just goes along at this sort of height all the way to the end of the peninsula, which is still quite a way, still in a mile, 1.2 miles, 1.3 miles. And down there is Weston-super-Mare. Really, up here it's a bit windy. I might find a good thing about a bivvy is you can get pretty much anywhere, so I might see if I can find a good bivvy spot up high just so I can see the sun. The place that I was thinking of is back down there, and it will certainly be sheltered from the wind, but it also have no sun, so I'd rather just spend the evening watching the sun go down. So if I can find a little spot up near here, that'd be great. So this was, I don't know if it was Victorian Fort or whatever it was, but there's another one further up there on Sand Point or Sandy Point, something like that. And but then I think, and that was all to fence against those French. And but then in the Second World War, I think they reopened this one. So up here, I think that is there is some sort of lookout. And then back down there they had guns. And so this is the Bristol Channel. There's Hinkley Power Station down there. Bristol Channel over here. Wales over that way with Cardiff. And there's an island, I forget what it's called now. But yeah, the guns used to be out there because Bristol docks are up that way, which are quite an industrial centre. I don't know where to go really. I mean, there's a nice little spot here, but it is quite windy. I want to get some cooking on. I want to get my food going. So I need somewhere that's got a little bit of shelter, but I've got a view. So I'm gonna have to have a wander around. I don't want to be anywhere near those goats. Goats eat stuff. Go and have a beer. Okay, well, it's a bit of cloud, so not going to see the sun, the full sunset as it touches the sea, but that's fine. Yeah, now's the time to be getting my life sorted out. So I watched Andy's Adventures, so whenever I look for a place to go wild camping, I always look at other YouTube videos. And he came down there, was down in that spot. Oops, what's dropped out? Which is a good idea because the wind is coming over there. It's going to be nice and sheltered. Watch out over the sea. Still got a lovely view over of Wales. Yeah, this will do me. Yeah, this is how to spend the school night. It's a nice evening actually. So I've come down off the top there on this side, and it's horrible brown water, as the Bristol Channel always is, with all the silt. There's a really strong tide that goes up through here. This is all sort of really mud flats, really big, and it's not particularly deep around here. But it's very nice to be out here all the same. Yes, I've got to be at work tomorrow, but when I work from home I start a little bit late. I do some fizz in the morning. This will be my fizz, legging it back, and then I work late as well. So there's some benefits to working from home. Oh, that's epic. Right, I need to get some food on because it's 9:15 and I haven't eaten yet. Right, that I need, that I don't need. Haribo, always a winner. But it's beautiful out here. All the lights are now starting to come out over in Wales, and Weston-super-Mare's starting to light up. I'll get some water on, get my pasta, get through this beer, pretty sharp. I might even do all four, I don't know. Depends how early I'm going to get up. But yeah, and then I'll get the steak going later on. Oh, it's a tough life, isn't it? But so there is a family. They're down there somewhere. It sounded like a whole load of kids. And I thought, oh, here we go. I'm in for some trouble now. But I did see what looked like a parent with a pram, so I don't reckon they'll be around too long. It's going to be dark pretty soon, so I imagine they'll be heading off. This is the risk with taking gas. Number one, it's noisy. It's not too bad though, because there's no one really around here that can hear me. But if that valve fails, and those BRS 3000, which is the BRS 3000s, they have been known online to fail, and there are quite a lot of bike backpackers who complain about them and have moved away. So if you want reliability, you go for Pocket Rocket or something like that. But it's nice and light. I wanted to go as lightweight as I could. And I can certainly notice it when I was riding. You know, I've ridden that exact bike through France, really loaded up, and I've taken it on a number of trips, varying weights. But this is the lightest I've ever really done it. Look at that, it's going, it's boiling. There we go. Brilliant. Yeah, so this is the lightest I've ever really done. You know, and for me, what I count as a proper setup is the ability to sleep in the rain, and the ability to cook some food. And that's the lightest. I could probably get it a little bit lighter if I didn't take that Bivvy. If I took the other Bivvy, that Special Forces Rab one. Trouble is that had an open face, and you get a lot of bugs and creepy crawlies and slugs are the things. I mean, I've had a slug. I've woken up. Oh, excuse me. On I can't remember which mountain it was.
but a slug had been up there, and I had an Adam the ant mark right across my face. He'd gone right over my nose in the middle of the night, and I was oblivious. So yeah, I really don't like slugs. So I always want a bit of meshing. But of course, in the winter, I would take that. I'm more than happy having it all open because they're not really out and about then. But then, of course, you need a bigger sleeping bag and everything else. So I wouldn't save too much. But that's pretty much as light as I can get it. And the bike was really nice to handle. Barely knew it. My Thunder Thighs on the frame bag actually wasn't that bad. That frame bag, they are stiffer than the other Apidura ones and the Expedition ones. But actually, it was only occasionally, and particularly when I was getting out the saddle. Right, I better get this thing and get my meal going because it's starting to get on quite a lot. And it's probably about 9:15 now. The sun's definitely gone down, lights are out, and it's time for my dinner. So speak to you later. Right, I don't know if you can see me, but I'm off to bed now. I haven't had a mistake. I might have that in the morning because that pasta bolognese was amazing. So I think there'll be steak tonight. Yeah, so I'll see you in the morning for steak. It's probably about 10 o'clock now. It's beautiful. I've just been sat out there watching the lights of Weston-super-Mare and Cardiff, watching the planes go over, and the wind's dropped down. It's actually quite nice now. See the stars up there. You won't be able to on this crappy GoPro. Lots of spiders around. I don't do spiders, but I've got my bug netting, so that's perfect. And I'll see you in the morning. Cheers. Oh, I've had better sleeps. Damn. So this merino wool liner is really good. So the temperature last night should have been about 12 degrees. The snag is, because I had to leave my kind of trousers, my bottoms on, I couldn't bring those with me, so my legs were cold all night. And because I brought this merino wool thing and not my sleeping bag, that was a bit of a problem. So yeah, so cold legs all night, and that kept me awake. No visitors in the night. It's about 20 to 6, quarter to 6. I'll give myself half an hour and then I'll get up and get a monster breakfast on. Tell you what, this Bivvy's pretty good. It's the second time I've slept in it. First time I had too much gear in it. But yeah, if you've got a sleeping pad, I mean, I'll be honest, there's not a lot of room left in here. So if I had a winter bag, the down would be too compressed and it'd be a bit rubbish. But I think it'd be okay for summer if I get a sleeping bag in here that's a bit big, that's a, you know, my decent sized sleeping bag, then it's pretty good. 3 season, I reckon. But you really need a big bivvy if you're going to do 4 season, because you've got to get a big sleeping bag and you don't want to compress the down or anything like that. Plus you want a thicker mat. This mat is a 2.75 inch, and so if I put my 4-inch mat in here, I would have no room. So I just lay here looking out at the light. So down there, yeah, that's Weston-super-Mare, and I was just looking over there at the at Cardiff lights. You could watch boats go by, but you could hear the boats. I could hear the boom 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 boom
of their props. I don't know why I could hear that. It's quite obvious. It did get cold, but as soon as this layer of cloud went over, it warmed up a little bit. Now, titanium frying pans are crap on gas. They just burn in the middle. They're really not good. Smells good though. Far too much oil. Bloody hell. They're going to send the rescue party in a minute. Oh, just right. For me. Oh yeah. Breakfast of Kings. Oh, just starting to get, you probably can't see that on this rubbish GoPro, but the red coming up over there over Weston-super-Mare. Right, and the great thing about this now is that if I had a big roll bag on the front of the bike, then I could literally just roll that up, slide that into my 14 litre Apidura bag, and I'll be away. And that lot there would just slide into what's left. Just a really simple system. And some people I think get claustrophobic, but I don't get claustrophobic. And I think that's just when I was a kid. I used to have nightmares about Jaws. I watched Jaws when I was far too young. And so the carpet was the sea, and I used to be under the covers. So I don't get claustrophobic at all. So it's done some good. So I'm more than happy being tucked under there. But like I say, that's for summer really. You put a big sleeping mat in there, plus you're a side sleeper, plus you have a big sleeping bag, and it's just not really a viable option. It'd just be too tight. You couldn't really do it. So it's okay for the summer, 3 seasons, but 4 seasons. I got my 2 hoop bivvies. What is it called? Terra Nova. Got my Terra Nova, which is a hooped bivvy, which is a bit bigger than that, not a hell of a lot bigger, but you can do a winter camp in it. And then I've got a Dutch Army bivvy, which is an amazing bit of kit. That's massive, as are all the Army bivvies as well. Plus it's got a bug net and everything. I mean, it's just everything. But it weighs 1.5 kilograms, so I would not be taking it bikepacking anywhere. But the Terra Nova, Juniper or Jupiter, I can't remember which one it is. Yeah, that's good. I've taken that bikepacking before, so that'll be my winter rig. Right, no mess. Got my rubbish. I sometimes chuck my rubbish in the back of my rucksack, but if you do that, you tend to get all the little bits of beer, and it bloody stinks of beer, and I just don't want that smell in my rather expensive Apidura rucksack. Right. There's a ship that's coming in. They're basically coming up the Bristol Channel all the way up, and there's Bristol up that way with the 2 bridges over to Wales. But it's yeah, I really like the Bristol Channel. Any of my students will know I like the Bristol Channel. Yeah, so imagine there's a big gun went in here. Right, So apparently that track that's down there used to be for a bouncing bomb. So a bit like they did in the Dam Busters. But I don't know when it was, but it looks like it's Second World War. And the idea was to fire it down that track and it would bounce across and hit the enemy ships. Trouble is that it was going so fast that it ended up blowing straight through the buffers and all ended up over the cliff. And that thing down there was basically a roll-out Master Grace's big searchlight. That little hut. What a cool place. Okay, well that's me then. I'll probably end the video there, I think. Just gonna get my head down and get home. Might stop at Sweets Cafe for coffee on the way, depending on what time I'll get there at, but I want to get back before 10 o'clock really. Keep up with those emails. Yes, overall I think the bags, they go really nicely on that bike, with the bits of yellow on here and the yellow on the wheels. I quite like it. So I will keep, you know, certainly that's my winter bike, and I'll keep, you know, the saddle bag and the smaller version of the frame bag just for winter riding. But overall, yeah, you can fit enough to do a basic camp with a bivvy bag in the summer, importantly, and take some stuff so you can cook yourself a meal. You'd have to put your food and any beers in a rucksack on the back, but that's generally what I do. I'd ride somewhere, pick up some food, and then go and camp down. So yeah, for an overnight camp, perfectly doable with that amount, and that's just with the 5 litre saddle bag. You can obviously get the 7 litre saddle bag on the back. Yeah, the bags themselves, well, I mean, I can't really say much, to be honest. They're apparently waterproof. I'm sure they are, given that they're Apidura. The material is certainly thinner, I think, than the expedition bags, but they're the same weight as the expedition bags for what you get, because of that extra rigidity that they're putting in here and on the bottom on some of the bags. Same on the front as well. I don't know why they do that, but so I don't think so. Certainly the frame bag, the top tube bag, they're the same weight as the expedition. I imagine this one's, if you had an equivalent expedition bag, I imagine this would be a little bit lighter, but not a lot really. So yeah, overall they're a good solid bag. They're not particularly lightweight. There's nothing special about them in terms of weight wise, but yeah, I like the top tube bag, really nice. And this ain't bad. It's supposed to have some tri-bars to help keep it up a little bit like that, but unfortunately, because I've got no tri-bars to hold it up, it droops, but gets a little bit close to there. But yeah, they're all right. They're Apidura. They're good quality. They're just bags. But they are quite expensive, I'm going to be honest. So take care and see you next time.